Yeah.
So now I'm going to go into the underground. So Ben, you work for IBM, and you're also part of the Silicon Vikings group. You mentioned earlier this underground. What's really going on here with gaming and the kind of the underground ecosystem?
I see a lot of activities going on right now, and I think it's a movement from the old technology to the new one. So everything that goes to cloud and it has to be secure, it has to be mobile, and more it's going into open source and open innovation. So what I have seen the last month is that the underground activities is increasing. One example is that a year ago, a US guy moved here, Tyler, and he found out that he found a lot of startup companies that did great things, but they didn't talk to each other. And the first startup, or the first meetup, was about 20, 30 persons. And now for the last month, it's been about 1,000 people coming every meetup. So there are a lot of people out there working with the new technology, finding new verticals.
Okay. And that's a good point. The City of Stockholm, you worked with Crawley to really help build that ecosystem. Can you talk a little bit about why you brought him in and some of the outcomes of that initiative?
No, we think that, as you mentioned before here, we had a lot of great companies in these new segments, in internet media type of things, and we had a lot of successes, but they were maybe not that well known internationally, and also it was not a real ecosystem from that perspective, because people were working on their own, doing some great stuff in their office, but not really connecting, and you couldn't really see it. If you would go to other startup hubs, you could kind of walk into a co-working space and see the startup world of that city, and we didn't really have that. We had probably the best companies in Europe, but it was hidden, and it was in small office in not a specific area all across downtown. So what we asked him to do is basically to get the community going, start with meetups, monthly meetups, and also something that we thought was key was the hashtag Stockholm Tech, which made it possible for people that are involved in the industry to kind of share what's happening and let other people know, okay, next week something is happening, tag that, and also let the greater world out there in a pretty good way to follow what's happening in Stockholm. So if you follow the hashtag Stockholm Tech, you will get a constant flow of information coming out of the startup community here. So we think that's one of the things that's been tremendously valuable.
Talk a little bit about the evolution of SUP 46, SUP 46. How did that come to be?
Well, it came from the same thing. We had a workshop together with the entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, VCs, and everyone said, you know, there's no physical place where you can feel this, see this, and kind of see Stockholm, Startup Stockholm. And it was a clear wish from the community to have something like that, and so we engaged in a way that we wanted this to be a grassroots movement. We have seen example elsewhere where the government would be involved in setting up some kind of co-working space, or hotted up incubator or something like that. We didn't think that would work. We wanted it to be entrepreneurs that would be drive this type of environment as well. And we wanted to support it, and what we did was to support them with real estate contacts basically, and some small funding, because we think that if it's not for profit and if it's not long term and people don't want to engage in it in a real way, it's not going to pay off long term. It's just going to be, so you need some
skin in the game.
Yeah, I think you need to see some kind of upside from their perspective, and you need to be, this is what I want to do. And we found some people that wanted to do this, and this was their chosen path of engagement from their startup perspective. And so.
But I think we will see much more of that type of organizations or that type of places to meet. Because since I spent some time in Silicon Valley the last years, I see that popping up everywhere. But the quality is very sort of, you can find some spots with high quality and some spots with less quality. I think what we have to do here in Stockholm is to sort of work with the quality and keep it very high all the time. If we can do that, we can compete globally.
Let's do a stop there. And now I want to go into the